Welcome back to the Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh along with Ron Cook, and we're talking about the Steelers, Bryant. Also Penn State, if you want to chime in about where they're ranking right now. But how about Los Angeles? They tied it in the 6th and went ahead with a home run. So it's all tied up. It was all tied up at 1-1. Now it is 2-1. Dodgers.
What a great series.
They need to win this game.
What a great series it's been. I love postseason baseball. I didn't get to see a lot of it over the weekend because I was at those football games. But every pitch means everything, and that's what it should be at this point. Dodgers so far are beating Verlander, which is pretty impressive. Yeah,
I wish I would have actually watched that game on Sunday. We were in Detroit with the Steelers game, and then I was on a plane back home and missed the whole game, basically. They were up 4-0 with Kershaw, and you would think that the Dodgers would have never lost that game. So
then Houston's up, what, 3 runs in the 9th? And
yeah,
the Dodgers tie it.
Yeah.
5 hours and 17 minutes of absolute incredible baseball.
All right, let's go out to the phone lines, and we're going to go out to John out in Banksville. How you doing, John?
Good, guys. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for calling.
I want to talk about the college football thing. I'm a big Notre Dame fan, always have been, so I'm ecstatic that they're 3rd. No, I'm sort of surprised. I thought maybe 4th, but I also root for the 3 local teams, and I'd love to be able to see Penn State get back in there. I think it's probably unlikely. Obviously, as you guys mentioned, they have to win out. And it would be good if Michigan could beat Ohio State, which is unlikely, but they hate each other, so which I think gives Michigan a little bit of incentive. And it would also be good to see North Carolina State beat Clemson, which I think is highly unlikely. But it's really early. What worries me about Notre Dame is they still have a brutal schedule.
Yeah.
They have, of the 4 games, they have 2 rated teams, one of which is unbeaten in Miami. So I'd love to see Notre Dame and Penn State both end up at the end of the year, but we got a long way to go, and it's still up in the air. And I was just wondering what you guys thought, and what you thought particularly about Notre Dame ending up in the top 4 at the end of the year.
Well, you know, that's going to be the toughest thing, Ron, because Notre Dame has some tough games, and specifically that Miami game coming up.
Yeah, but Miami plays Virginia Tech Saturday night. They may lose that one.
They could.
Who knows? There's so much football left. I don't pay much attention on October 31st because a lot can happen between now and December 1st in the next month. I think Alabama clearly is the #1 team. Oh, I guess there's 2 in this poll behind Georgia. I haven't seen enough of Georgia. Ohio State beat Penn State despite playing 3 of the worst quarters of football I can ever imagine an Ohio State team playing. I mean, they had offsides, false starts, delay of games, fumbles. The kickoff coverage stunk, but yet they were still good enough in the 4th quarter to really whack Penn State around because the line play, both offensively and defensively, just dominated Penn State. I don't think Penn State's quite ready for Ohio State yet. Yeah, I know the result said 1 point on the road, but I think Ohio State was much the better team.
Yeah, they were, especially at the end. I mean, they had two major things happen at the beginning and climbed back into that game. And, you know, I was pulling for Penn State because I actually wanted to cover a national championship. It would have been fun. I think that's unlikely now. But like you said, it's
long way to
November.
go. I worry about Penn State this weekend and Michigan State. I think they could lose that one very easily.
Michigan State also has Ohio State coming up, and Michigan has Ohio State. So they could lose one of those games, possibly losing the Big Ten championship, but then they would need Wisconsin to lose. Just so many scenarios. You know, it's nice to see Notre Dame finally in the mix here. But, yeah, we're a long way off. For 4 games away. And I think this is going to change 4 or 5 different times before the end of the year.
Speak for yourself. Nice to see Notre Dame in the mix. Well, speak for yourself.
Well, I don't
care who. I don't care who gets in, as long as it isn't Michigan.
All right. Well, they're not going to be getting in.
No.
All right. Let's go out to Jerry in Hempfield. How you doing, Jerry?
Hey, Rich, Ron. I want to get your comment after what I'm going to say. I was watching Bill Cowher the other day on post game, and he was asked about Martavis Bryant, and he says, one man, no matter how good you are, does not make a team. He says the problems in the locker room with the other players have to comment on him through people ask him questions. He says, plus he doesn't get open. He misses the balls a lot. And if you do sign him to a long-term contract or 3 years, and you give him a nice big raise, guaranteed money, and he smokes some dope or something, and he gets suspended he's definitely out, then you lose money. He says the guy would not be on the team the way Bill Cowher says.
Well, who's talking about signing him to a long-term deal? I mean, the Steelers aren't talking about that. I see no way he's here beyond next year, but I don't give him away now. I mean, you have no receivers after really Smith-Schuster and obviously Antonio. No one's talking about giving him a long-term deal.
But I think he wants one. I think
he definitely wants one, but that doesn't mean he wants traded too, and that didn't happen. So, I mean, I don't know if anyone's suggesting he gets a long-term contract. He wants one, but he's got to go out and play. And he's been bad so far.
Yeah, and you know what? It can be a distraction, but it's not a distraction anymore, Ron, because he's really not in the limelight when you think about it. He's basically their fourth, fifth option on offense. So
I talked to DeCastro about this the other day, and he said, we're the Kardashians. We got stuff going on all the time. He said, players don't even pay any attention to it. They don't blink. They just go out and play the game. They don't like answering questions about it. But on Sunday afternoon, do you think they're really worried about what Martavis Bryant's situation is? They're worried about him not having him because he can help them, but I don't think they care. I really don't.
Other than having to answer questions about him, like you said. So, and they brought that up a couple times. So let's go out to Vic in Cabot. How you doing, Vic? Vic, you there?
Yeah, hello,
hey,
Rich.
Yeah.
Here's my question.
Okay.
There's really nothing been said in the news the last 4 or 5 days about Martavis Bryant from him himself. Why do you guys keep piling on and making it a subject every night like it's a hot thing and things are going on?
Well, today's the trade deadline, sir, and there was some speculation that he would be traded. That's why we're talking about it today. He's on the team. They got to make it work with him. He's a good player, and they need him. I don't like their wide receivers with just the two guys. I think you need three. So if we're piling on, that's just only because he's a valuable player to them.
Yeah, also it was a big news last week, and people were calling in here about it. But today, he not only didn't get traded, he asked for a trade, but not only didn't get traded, but he also practiced. He wasn't on the scout team today. So I think that's important news to pass along. And plus, we didn't see too much from Justin Hunter. Eli Rogers drops a pass.
Yeah, we saw enough from them the other night.
Yeah,
not very good.
Exactly. So you got to look at that and say the Steelers have to realize they need to get Bryant mentally back in shape and back in the game. So let's go out to Brad in Pittsburgh. How you doing, Brad?
Hey, how you doing today, man?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Great show, great show.
Thanks.
I was watching the game, and I couldn't help but seeing Brian on the sideline looking like a little puppy. And I'm glad Tomlin sat him down to make him look at the game and realize what he's missing. You know what I mean? Because he has a gift. And I'm glad we didn't trade him. But at the same time, do you think that helped him sitting on the sideline watching us play?
I think so. It helped him grow up, don't you think, Ron? I mean, he had to be thinking in his mind after Juju
Well, how
Smith.
about though? Were you there when I asked Cowher? When I asked Tomlin about it?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't there, but I heard it.
I said, he said, I'm not talking about it. And I go, well, you didn't talk about it the other day. He goes, I'm not talking about it now. And I said, are you confident he can help you after the bye week? He goes, I'm not. We'll see. Yeah. I think he's trying to motivate the kid. I really do. He's here. They got to play him. They need him. They got to figure out a way to unlock that key to his head. And I'm writing about Ben, talking about him tomorrow. Ben said, I'm not giving up on him. I want to work with him. I want to figure out a way to get him involved. It helps when the quarterback's on your side.
Yeah, and I would think maybe for his confidence, he needs a big game in Indianapolis. And I hope for his sake he has one because he's a key to this offense right now. It looks like, at least if you're looking at as a third wide receiver to help even just get those guys open to move on in the AFC. All right, we got to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls and some of your tweets coming up next. Stay right there.